Hello everyone. Hello everyone. My name is Sumitra Swai. I welcome you all to the UNC digital classes. We are studying Introduction to Business, and in today's class we are going to start a new chapter, that is your joint stock company. First, we have to understand that why we should start a company. What are the demerit or what are the barriers in your sole trader proprietorship or in your partnership. So we can see here that in partnership we can only add our partners or members up to 20 members. So if you will add only 20 members, ultimately you will have limited resources, or we can say that we have very limited capital or very limited wisdom. With very limited wisdom, we cannot take our business or we cannot take our company to a more profitable way. Okay. So for attaining maximum profit, for attaining maximum growth, we have to add or we have to join maximum members in our business firm. So for overcoming those barriers, we have to start a new concept, and that is called as your joint stock company. So you can see that if it is about your sole proprietorship or partnership, the risk factor is very much unlimited because the members are very much limited. Yes or no? So the unlimited risk is to be divided into very limited members. That's why we can see there are a lot of risk in sole proprietorship, or we can say in our partnership firm. Coming to the point that what is a joint stock company, we can say that a joint stock company is a business owned by its investor. And who are the investor? We have to mark, or we have to recognize that who are the investor. So first we have to understand that, let's say I am a sole proprietorship owner. Okay, I have a business and I am running that business from 3 to 4 years. Now what I am seeing that in those limited resources, and I am a single owner. Okay, I have that capability that I can run a business, but if there would be maximum resources, if there would be maximum capital, then it would be a better situation where I could earn maximum to maximum profit. So I have an idea where I am thinking that, okay, let me start the business by receiving the money from the customers or the publics. Okay, so whenever there will be the concept of public and their money, their resources, ultimately government has to interfere. So at this situation also, government will ask me that what is the guarantee or what is the chance that you will not cheat their money or their fund, what is your capability, what is your caliber. So what I can do here is I have to show my last 3 to 4 years of balance sheet, my financial statement to the government, and by seeing those statements, government can confirm me that okay, you have that ability where you can run the business, all you need is public money. So okay, I am allowing you that you can borrow funds from the public, and from that situation it will be converted into joint stock where I am inviting public to invest their money in my organization. Okay, so here if they are investing their money, how I will call myself as the single owner? So ultimately they are also going to be the owner. Here the owners are joining their hands to run my organization. That's why the name come into joint stock company. So mark here that who are the investor now? The people who have invested their money in our organization. With each investor owing a share, if they will invest their money in my organization, what they will get? That they will get a share, their proportion of money into a share based on the amount of stock they have purchased in my organization. A company is an association of person. It is a voluntary association because I am not forcing the people of the investors to invest their money forcefully in my organization. They come to invest their money in my organization with their own willingness. So we can say that a company is a voluntary association of person who contribute money or money's worth to a common stock and employ it in some trade or business, and they share the profit and loss arising therefrom. Ultimately, if they are investing their money in my organization or in our organization, so the result or the profit or the loss, whatever it is going to be generated, it is also to be divided among all those shareholders. Okay. Now come to the definition. According to Professor Haney, joint stock company is a voluntary association of individuals for profit having a capital divided into transferable shares. Why it is saying that it is a transferable share? Because if at one point I am a shareholder and I am thinking that I should step back from the company, I am no more interested in that company, then I can sell my shares to someone else, and ultimately that new person will be the member of this joint stock company. That is why we are saying that it is a transferable share, and the owner of which is the condition of membership. If you are a shareholder, ultimately you are one owner of this organization. Now we are going to study that what are the basic characteristics or features of a joint stock company. First, it is your artificial person. It has a separate legal entity, the formation, perpetual succession, transferability of shares, common seal, statutory control, limited liability, and the last one is corporate finance. So we will discuss one by one feature in the next slide. First, it is about your artificial person. What do you mean by artificial? When we say that it is about artificial, we always say that it is not natural. That is why we can say that the organization does not have any particular physical body or a soul. It does not have a natural way of born. Okay, so that's why it is artificial. It is man-made. The business is developed or the business is started by one person. That's why it is man-made or artificial. And why we are considering as a person? Because in the next slide we are going to study that the company can sign, the company can sue someone, the company can form any contract with others. That's why by combining the two words, artificial and person, we will say that the joint stock company is an artificial person. Here it is saying that a company is an artificial person created by law. Obviously, it is a legal entity. That's why the company must satisfy all the essential element of a valid contract, and then only it will come into existence. It exists only in contemplation of law. It is competent to enter into contract and to own property in its own name. It does not take birth like a natural person, and it has no physical body of natural human being. What we are trying to say here is, if you have any complaint about one company, okay, you have bought one product from, let's say you have bought a product from Reliance, and what happened, that product is not that much of good, you feel that you got cheated. If you at this point of time, if you want to sue a file against that company, against whom you are going to file that case? Against Reliance, or you are going to file the case against the members? You are going to file the case against the company's name. Okay, so the company's name is very much mandatory, it is very much essential. So we can say that the company is an artificial person. The next feature, it is saying that a joint stock company has a separate legal entity. First, we have to understand that there is a convention or there is a concept where we are saying that the company and the business and the businessman have to be separated. First of all, okay, why it is important? Let's say I am Sumitra and I have a company that is Sumitra's Limited, and I am very much busy. That's why I have kept someone as my accountant. Now, if I am going to buy a car for my personal use, for my home, then that accountant is not interested in my personal matter. But if I buy a car for my companies, means Sumitra's Limited, then ultimately that accountant must keep an eye, and he should keep a record regarding any buy or sell of that company. Okay, every individual entry or transaction is going to be recorded that is related to the company, not regarding to me. That is what we are saying, that the business and the business owner are two separate entity, and in the eye of law, if the business owner is doing something that is not relevant to the company's shareholders or the members, but every little transaction is going to affect the members or the shareholders. Okay. It is written that a company has a distinct legal entity independent to its member. It can own property, make contract and file suit in its own name. There can be contract between a company and its members. So, here we are saying in the last point that a company can make a contract among its members also. The next is about the formation. So, if we have to if we will remember about the formation of your sole proprietorship and your partnership, we have known that in sole proprietorship or partnership, it is quite easier, okay, because it is about me, or if it is a sole proprietorship, or if it is about my partnership, then me and my 4 or 5 partners. But when we talk about your joint stock company, actually the formation is bit complex. Why? Because it is very time consuming, it is very expensive and it is complicated, because government has to interfere a lot in joint stock company. You have to prepare all the document in proper manner, every little, to be competent in the eye of the law, you have to possess all the valid essential point of the Indian Contract Act, and the compliance with several legal requirements, the stamps, the names, where is your property, every little detail is have to be mentioned there. Okay. The next one is about your perceptual succession. Perceptual means where we are perceiving that our organization is going to continue for a very long period. Means we are saying that it is a never ending or it has a permanent existence. Okay. So, with this we are saying that if it is about a joint stock company, then we can say there are at least, let us say it is a 50 members of company. If one member dies, or if one member left or retired or he got insolvent, then the death or any hazard with that one member is not going to end whole organization. Okay. So, that is why we are saying that the perpetual succession deal with a business can only be brought into end by law, means when the court or the law will permit that no, this company is not doing that much of growth, or it is not beneficial for the country or its member, then it has to be wind up. Okay. Perpetual succession means continued existence. A company is a creation of the law and only the law can bring an end to its existence. Its life does not depend on the life of its member. The death or insolvency or inertia of members does not affect the life of a company. The next one is about the control. If it is a sole proprietorship, we know the whole control is in the sole proprietorship or the one owner. If it is about the partnership, we know that all the control is in the hand of your active partner, or we can say the secret partner. But if it is a joint stock company, the control is divided into variety of persons. Okay. So, among those shareholders, we will choose that who are those people who have maximum number of shares. Okay. And from those shareholders, we will select at least 30 to 40 members and we will call them as your board of directors. Okay. And now, the whole company is going to be controlled by the decision and the ideas given by those board of directors. So, if it is about ownership control, means money regarding, then it is to be exercised by the shareholders, and if it is about management control, then it is about to be exercised by the board of directors. And remember that these board of directors are the member who have been represented or chosen by the shareholders of the organization. Government exercises control through company law over the management of joint stock company. company is required to comply with several legal formality and to file several documents with the register of companies. The next one is transferability of shares. Here we are saying that the company's shareholder can transfer their shares to someone else also at their own willingness. Okay, so this slide is saying about the capital of the company is divided into similar parts and each part is called as a share or stock. The shares are generally transferable. We can buy or we can sell our shares in stock market, as you all know. The shareholder is free to withdraw his membership. If one shareholder is no more interested with the organization, he can step back and he is free to withdraw his membership from the company by transferring his shares into someone else's name. Okay, and all these things are to be followed with some restriction, with some formal procedure, but this is very much possible. Okay. Next one is very important from a company's point of view, that is common seal. So if we will talk about this college, okay, this college is an institution and we can say that if there is a formal notice, or if we will say that there is a official notice, what you have to mark first, it is about the college logo or the stamp of the college name. So at every document, at one point or at any place, there should be the legal stamp of that company's name, and above that there should be one signature. If it is about this college, then there is a stamp of Udayanath Autonomous College, and above that there is the signature of the principal, that is stating that this document, whatever it is written, is very much official and it is with the assent of the members of the college. Likewise, if it is about a company, we are going to say that the company is a very artificial person. He cannot sign for himself or itself. That's why it has to act through someone else, and that someone else is is a human being. All the act of the company are authorized in its common seal. And what is a common seal? Common seal means when a name of the company is engraved in a seal. Okay, the common seal is applied to all the important document as a token of the company's approval, means the company has approved that all the information are valid or official, and document which doesn't wear a common seal of the company cannot be competent to be filed or sued, and it is not binding on the company. Okay. Next one is the limited liabilities. Limited liabilities is saying that a company has a separate legal entity. Its member cannot be held liable for the debt of the company, and the liability of every member is limited to the nominal value of the shares bought by him or to the amount of guarantee given by him. What it is saying, that we are not sole proprietor, we are not the partnership. Here we are unlimited shareholders. Suppose, okay, so every risk, or we can say every loss, every expenditure is going to be borne by unlimited shareholders. So here every part is very much limited. If I am a shareholder and I am holding the stocks of 50,000, then what is the chance of loss? Ultimately it is only up to 50,000. If there is a loss of 1 crore, then I am not liable for that. Okay, so all the liabilities are to be divided among the unlimited shareholders, and which ultimately create, or which ultimately state that the liability is very much limited in a joint stock company. Next one, it is about your voluntary association. In the beginning I have already stated that a joint stock company is a voluntary association because all the shareholders or all the peoples or individuals have come together with their own free willingness. That's why it is a voluntary association. It is written that it is a voluntary association of certain person formed to carry out a particular purpose, means all the shareholders have come together because they want to carry the business. Okay, so their purpose is to earn more to more profit, and that is the purpose in common, and the members of the company can join it and leave it at their own free will. Means every shareholder is very much free that he can leave the company at any moment of time. So this is for today's class. I hope this video will help you to understand what is joint stock company and the basic characteristics or features regarding your joint stock company. If you have any doubt regarding any point at any point, you can write it in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.